everyone, it's your girl Lola Rene'e, beauty therapist and creator of the Diamond Life brand, the lifestyle brand that is here to help you be so unapologetic about who you are, the strength you possess, and the light that you shine and reflect. Welcome to the Diamond Life. Well, listen, this is the kickoff, the very first episode in my series of Grown, Sexy, and Confidently Single. Thank you all so much for being here. This is exciting. God put this on my heart some time ago to come along and just help people. And my first series was actually going to be on confidence. I don't want people to think that this channel is all about being single. No, this series is about being single, about being responsible with your single season, and about being empowered by it and not bound by the stigmas of being single. Before we go into it, first off, let me just tell you a little bit about my single season. I have been single now for 12 years. I promise you, if God would have told me, listen, babe, I'm going to have you single and practicing abstinence for over 10 years, I'd have been like, yo, can we talk about this? Like, yo, I am officially inviting you to breakfast, Lord. Like, come on in the room, come to the breakfast table, come sup with me. You want dinner instead? Let's do it, But I'm like, look, that's a nice big number. I wasn't ready for that right there, but okay. I had a pastor once who told me, I'm hearing in the spirit that if you stay single for 1 year, God is going to bless that. If you be celibate for a year, God is going to bless that. And I'm like, God gonna bless me, period. I'm not about to, it was hard for me to battle with, for the same reason it's hard for everybody to battle with, especially if you done stepped out already and you done tasted the fruit. Yeah, the fruit is good. So you don't want to be over here talking about celibacy and abstinence and all this stuff. And so it was a little difficult for me to want to jump on that. But I'm not even going to say that I jumped on that. God put me in position to do that. So in this very first video of Welcome to the Diamond Life, I told you guys I ended up moving to Washington State. I call it the Washington experience because that's what it was. It was an experience with God. So within my Washington experience, one of the things that God allowed me to experience was being without a man. It was quite the experience to be in that place. And the way he did this, because, hey, men are everywhere, right? And I don't care what state you go to. I don't care what country you go to. They're there. So it was being put in a place where I was not desirable to the men that I desired. That's the nice way to say it. But yeah, I wasn't desirable to the men that I desired. And so I remember when I first got out there, the first guy that I was actually interested in, I won't say interested, I just thought he was cute. I was walking through the mall and I was like, oh, dude is cute. And any other time I go that far, a man looks at me and he at least says hi. Yo, this dude didn't even look in my direction. I was straight vapor. I was like, what in fresh hell just happened? This is new. Hold up. So it began to happen more and more with the men that I desired, and I was like, this is crazy. I can't get none of these men to look at me. And I didn't understand it, but they would not look at me. They would not. I was like, okay, well, look. Eventually what ended up happening is I started finding out there were other things that would take up my time. And I needed to give my time and my attention to those things and not giving it to a man who I was only going to use anyway for sex and whatever else he would give me. Okay, I just wanted to get laid and it was like, cut it out. So I didn't even realize the season that I was in. I didn't realize how serious it was because I had never had a moment like this with God. This is a part of the Washington experience too. This is where God introduced himself to me as more than the one who my mama and my grandmama was praying to when they needed stuff, and now it was about me needing from this God who I knew through my mom and my grandmom and all of them. There's a difference between knowing of God and knowing God. And I knew of God through my parents, my grandparents, and all that, but I was beginning to know God for myself through my own experiences. So that's what the Washington experience was. But this started my single abstinence journey. Now, you're going to hear me say abstinence over celibacy a lot. This is why. I looked up the definition of those two things, and I did it on purpose. What I realized is celibacy is the act of abstaining from marriage and sex. Abstinence is abstaining from, how did they say it? I know I have it. I wrote it down. I'm going to tell y'all what it said. Abstinence is the act of abstaining from indulging in what is pleasurable. If you actually look up the word abstinence, the word sex ain't even in it. So it's abstaining from the indulgence of that which is pleasurable. Where celibacy is the act of abstaining from marriage and sex. That's exactly what it says. It doesn't say marriage or sex. It says marriage and sex. I ain't trying to abstain from marriage. I want to be married. I ain't going through all of this abstinence to not be married. So, and it just, I am a person who I believe in the power of words. I believe in the power of words because I believe in the power of the word. And the word says, death and life is in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. Okay? We always stop at, death and life is in the power of the tongue. But it says that on the end, they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. Okay? So if you're going around talking about, I practice celibacy. I'm celibate. Yeah, you go be celibate. And then you wondering why you still celibate. You could have been married a long time ago. It was probably God's plan to have you married a long time ago, but you were so busy talking about celibacy, abstaining from marriage. Yeah. So, and I'm gonna stop saying it like, you so wrong for that, because I was saying that too, y'all, until I looked it up. And I was looking it up for the purposes of this series. But once I looked it up, I was like, I ain't celibate. I practice abstinence. So that's my practice, y'all. Okay. But yeah, when it comes back to, the lies you hear, and I mean just the things people say about what a single person should be doing, should look like according to them. Like a lot of the things that they say ain't even biblical. It's not even according to the word. It's according to their fear and their insecurities. That's what it is. So we're going to talk about a couple of these things. I'm about to help y'all today with this, okay? First things first. Let me see where I'm at. Here's one. This is your season of waiting. Y'all, I hate that. I'm going to tell you why I hate that. Number one, I ain't read that in the Bible where it says that this is your season of waiting. It's not. So waiting for what? Waiting for what? I'm finna sit here and tweedle my thumbs and wait for a man to get here. You finna tell me that I can't live without my man. What am I waiting on? This is your season of living. That's what this is, honey. This is your season of living. When you are single, this is your season of living. And I'm going to tell you why this is the season of living. Because when you are in a relationship, everything that you do is taking into consideration that other person. The person that you were in the relationship with that other person is all about who you were with them. Who are you now? Because you're not with them. You can't live in yesteryear. This is your time to evolve into the now. So this is your season of living now because you need to know who you are right now. You're producing a new person. What do you like? What rocks your world? What makes you smile? What makes you laugh? What makes you giggle? What makes you feel snuggly, cuddly good about life? What is it for you? Not for you and that person that you were in a relationship in your past. You ain't her no more. You ain't him no more. So no, this is not your season of waiting. This is your season of living because you need to know and embrace who you are right now. Okay? Also because I feel like you really need to be in a space of going out and making new memories. Because why do you want to be sitting across from your future man or woman talking about your last relationship because that's all you had while you were sitting there waiting and not living. Get your butt out there and make some memories and some great things to make yourself interesting to talk to your man about or to your woman about. Okay, don't be sitting at the table talking about the last person you were with. I don't want to hear about them. I'm here now. And what about us? Tell me about who you were after that person left. Especially if you've been single for a year or better. Who did you become? What happened in that year? It wasn't meant for you to sit back and be all depressed and everything. You were supposed to go out there and live your life. Go do that. Go have fun. All right? So yeah, that's number one. That's a lie, y'all. Number two, where we at? Oh, here's one. Girls' night is sinful. Now, okay. I actually heard a first lady say this before. She said, a girls' night is a sinful thing because you start going out and drinking and, partying. And where does that turn into? You end up meeting someone who was not meant for you. This person was not yours. And you're out here giving yourself to someone that you just met the night before. And I was just thinking that's not true. Girls' night is not sinful. The potential of girls' night can be sinful. What you do with it can be sinful. Okay, so that could be anything in this world. My goodness, eating is not sinful, but gluttony becomes sinful when you begin to overeat. So no, girls' night is actually quite beneficial. It's good for you to get out with your girlfriends and go make life experiences with your girlfriends. It's good for you to have a plethora of girlfriends, a genre of girlfriends, if you will. So in your genre of the married, the single, the in a relationship with a boyfriend, the fiance, all of those girls, they make a difference because some of them is where you are. Some of them are where you want to be. So don't be afraid of girls' night. Don't let anybody tell you that it's sinful, and govern yourself accordingly. Here we go. Your single season should be spent in church. Now, I'm a Christian woman, so I do believe that having a good church home is important, very important. Okay, but I do not believe that you should be spending all your time in the church, in every auxiliary. Let's just say you've been single for a year and you always up in church. You don't do nothing. You go to work, you go to church, you go home. How he supposed to find you? How your man supposed to find you if that's all you doing? Especially if you've been doing it for a year and ain't nobody walked through the door in a year. It might be time for you to try something different, yo. Just try something different because it's been a year and this dude ain't walked through the door yet. He might not be coming through the doors until you bring him through that door. Go out and live. Go out and live. I am not telling anybody to leave the church, but I am telling you that while the church is important, the rest of your life is important too. Go live your life. Okay? Here's one that I dealt with a lot. This one right here, I dealt with this one a lot. And a lot of it was because of my background of promiscuity. I was kind of bound. I was held bound by this one. And it was just like, at some point I had to come out of it. And this one is, you should not be sexy when you're single. You shouldn't be, anything about you should not be about sexy or sex. And I'm like, I really believe that that's a lie. Here's what I believe. You should lead with sex. You should lead with your sexy. That's like a man or a woman having a whole lot of money and they're rich and they're always putting online their boats, their houses, their cars, their money and all that stuff, counting money. You lead with that, that's what people are going to know you for. So when it comes to your sex appeal, being sexy and all that, I don't believe that you should not talk about that because it's a part of who you are, regardless of whether or not you have a man or woman in your life. It's a part of you. I'm going to keep it real. I do believe that you should practice the fine art of sexy. And I don't mean that in just the physical. Okay, so sexy comes in so many different packages, whether it's your education, your confidence. I don't know about y'all, but an educated man, that's sexy to me. A confident man, that's sexy to me. It's more than just the way he dressed and ooh, his cologne and ooh, that body and all that stuff. That's nice. And that's the cherry on the cake, y'all. I'm not tripping on that part right there. I'm not. But the other stuff, that's sexy. I'm going to keep it real with you. A man that loves the Lord and he knows how to pray, that's sexy to me. Yo, the Holy Spirit just taking over a man right there, that's sexy to me. I ain't sorry. So anything that makes you practice that fine art of your sexy. When it comes to the sexiness of your bodies, if you know that you working with a whole lot, God has blessed you with titties and booty, titties and or booty, whatever it is, but if he's blessed you, you know how to carry it in a way that says that I am to be respected. While I may have all this beautiful body here that God has blessed me with, I am not my body. You will respect me as the woman and the person that I am. That does not happen by having deep plunge shirts on and by wearing those pants or that skirt with that thong that is going to have your booty wobbling all over the place. That's not helping. I'm just going to put that out there, babe. It's beautiful to have. I know you got it. I'm your sister in Christ. I am not your hater. I am not hating on you. Okay, so just knowing how to be a good steward over your body, what God has given you. Be a good steward over that. Showing it off is not being a good steward, but realizing that there's a man that God has for you who is deserving of this. And your past should be the example of that. Your past should speak to what I just said. Because how many times have you given yourself to a man who didn't stick around? Even though, it was a long-term relationship. It was not about it being a long-term relationship. It was about that man sticking around. But because you made it so easy for him to leave by giving him what he wanted, he got tired of it and dipped out on you. And why not? It ain't like he had no responsibility to you or your body. You did. That's it. That's your power. Men, if you know you're well endowed, don't walk around with a deep print showing, wondering why she all up on you and everything. And now she's showing the hornier side of herself. And you over here talking about, dang, that's how you be a woman, be a lady, be a lady. You ain't helping her be a lady. You're not helping her. You walking around with all that hanging down your leg. You know who you are. And then you want her to be a lady. How about you go ahead and just be a gentleman? There's a difference between being a grown dude and a grown man. And the grown dude walks around with his deep print showing. The grown man knows, hey, I'm working with a little something here, and I need to do better to cover that up. For respect for himself and for others around him. Don't nobody want to be seeing that the same way women don't want to be looking at another chick's booty cheeks. I'm sure that while you walking around all day with your deep print showing, a whole bunch of dudes don't want to be seeing all that either. So respecting yourself. And yes, gentlemen, it is respect for yourself. Why you out here thinking that doesn't pertain to you, that you don't have a responsibility to respect yourself? Yes, you do. Hold the lies they tell. Oh, the lies they tell. That's a lie. There's a responsibility for you to take care of yourself and respect yourself. It has nothing to do about having a whole lot of men respecting your gangster. Self-respect has nothing to do with that. It's all about how you present yourself to this world, that they may respect you as a person, not the gangster in you. Okay? Respect yourself a bit more to put your deep print away. And to pull up your pants, because don't nobody want to see your drawers. Just put that one in there for you. Number 5. So number 5 is my personal favorite here. This one's a big lie, y'all. Here it is. There is something wrong with you if you've been single for a long time. Something wrong with you. If you're single for a long time, just know that that is not a bad thing. That's the time for you to do what you need to do to better yourself for the man that you've been praying for. Because praying for him and not doing the work on yourself, it's not a prayer. That right there is a wish list. That right there is just a bunch of words. It's just a bunch of words, because faith without works is dead. We are so busy praying for this man that we want, and we are not doing the work ourselves to be prepared for him. And I'm going to tell you now, you can read 1,000,001 books. That don't make you prepared. Where's your application of things that you've learned from any of these books? And sometimes the application is not easy because that means digging within yourself and seeing the truth. And the truth hurts. The truth is ugly. The truth is not pretty at all. The truth is bothersome. The truth makes you cringe. And you got to go through that hurtful, bothersome, cringing moment and break it down so that you can see where you are, so that you can move forward and so that you can get that man. But God ain't finna bless no mess. He is not finna send his best into your mess. Do the work in your single season, y'all. Do what you need to do. Okay? So these are just a couple of things that I believe are big lies that people tell us. And like I said, they say these things based on their own insecurities. They even say these things based off of what they've been taught in the church, or they say these things based off of their own fear. Fear of where they think you're going to go. Fear of, oh, they might veer off and do something that's sinful. Oh, we need to pull them back, pull their coattails. And that's not what God asked them to do. They needed to be more in prayer for you so that you don't go off and have those things which are not sinful, not become potential sin. Anything has the power to become potential sin. Okay? So govern yourselves in your single season in a way that shows evolution. It shows that you're evolving, a way that shows growth, a way that shows your maturity. You're maturing in this season. You are not meant to stay who you were in the last season that you were single. You definitely were not meant to stay the same way you were when you were with old boy or old girl. Absolutely not. That is not what this season is made for. Do your work. Prepare for what you're praying for. Keep praying. Keep believing. Don't you forget that faith without works is dead. Do not forget that, y'all, because if you forget that, it's pointless. It's just a bunch of words. We don't want a bunch of words up in here. Okay, listen, guys, thank you so much for sitting through this moment with me of my very first episode of the Grown, Sexy, and Confidently Single series. I so appreciate your attendance, your support. Please pass this along to someone who may need to hear these things, okay? You're not doing it for me. You're doing God's work when you pass this along, because I'm doing this for him. This message is from him. He took me through these things so that I can give this to you. So you're only passing along God's word, God's truth. And that's a faith move right there, y'all. That's a faith move, passing it along. So thank you so much for passing it. Listen, you all be encouraged today, that you may go out and encourage someone else, because I promise you there's someone in this world who absolutely needs more than they want your encouragement. And if you're looking for a few good ways to encourage someone today, your eye contact will encourage someone. That beautiful smile that God has given you, I promise you that's going to encourage someone right there. Your hello, the sound of your beautiful voice, that right there, your hello will encourage someone today. And if you put all three of those things together, it looks just like this. Hello. That right there is going to encourage someone, because you never knew who needed to hear that. You never knew who felt like they were not seen today. And you came along and did the job of seeing them today. The blessing of your attention helped someone to make a better choice today and say, you know what, since that person smiled at me, recognized me as a human being, maybe, just maybe, I have purpose. And maybe, just maybe, I'll live another day. Thank you for doing the job of seeing someone today. Thank you for staying encouraged and using that encouragement to encourage someone else. Thank you. I love you all so much, and there's absolutely nothing you could do about it. I love you. I love you. I love you. Mwah. Blessings.